Most racist black people in America.
God hates white people. He created them to be hated.
Like, white people are a virus. The only way to get rid of it is the medicine. Real niggas are the medicine.
We got a whip right here.
Yeah, this for you.
Chill with that.
When I see a white baby, I be like, he's gonna try to enslave my people when he gets older. The only thing that a white person could give me is their life.
The men and the women who profited off of our slavery, they're going to bow at our feet.
You'll kiss this boo right here.
One at a time.
Keep on coming, Mr. White Man.
Everybody said that they love black people, but there's no action behind it.
Both of y'all, sit.
These are the Black Hebrew Israelites, a black supremacist group that hates white people and believes that they're the true Israelites.
No, I would tell you, I really hate white people. I would tell you that.
But what other groups besides whites do they hate?
The dark race is the so-called African, who you would call the Nigerian, the Rwandan, the South African. They are not our people.
And do these beliefs actually come from the Bible? I met up with Captain Tazariak and his brothers mid-training session in Harlem, New York to learn more.
What you see over there is you see what we call Hebrew Academy. So this is a physical training and mental and spiritual training that we do every year where we take new members, we train them. So they're gonna go through physical training, self-defense, spiritual training, learn the scriptures.
Okay, real quick, you have any questions, Miss?
No, I'm just wondering. I've seen them before, I just don't know what they do.
What we teach is that the true children of the Bible are blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. And so we come out here to train these new members in our school.
Sounds good to me. I'm out here doing kind of the same thing.
There's one catch.
We believe that white people are probably the worst thing to ever happen to black people.
Well, I can understand.
What are your plans for her and her kind?
It's not really our plans, it's God's plan. According to the Bible, God is going to avenge black people for what white people did, so they go enslaved. You know, they got to be in chains, they got to build our kingdom, they got to serve out the judgment for touching God's people.
How you doing?
So they got to build our kingdom. They gotta serve out the judgment for touching God's people.
How you doing? What are your thoughts on the Black Hebrew Israelites?
I would need to know more about it.
Can you give her a quick synopsis of what you believe in?
Of course, you know Jesus Christ is black, right?
I don't know much about, to tell you the truth, the Bible. I do know that people are being persecuted and have been for a long time. It's the patriarchy in this country and in many other Western countries that are discriminating, and I'm happy when people are standing up for educating other people and helping us understand.
This is a very compassionate answer. At some point, though, you will be in chains and enslaved, apparently. What are your thoughts on that?
If you lead the people into slavery and destroy their identity, shouldn't there be a punishment for those people who do it?
Yes.
Is he a brother? ¿Qué es tu país de origen?
The thing is,
Spanish counter now.
Conquistadors. We're indigenous. That's European, right?
Oh, man. Okay.
They're the ones who conquered the natives.
That's what I'm saying. They could kiss the boot.
Yeah, hell yeah.
I'm not so sure that I myself should take responsibility other than helping the legacy of what white people did to dark people.
She said, I'm gonna help the legacy of what white people did. You know what that means? That's Trump.
No. Help erase that legacy.
He's trying to set you up over here.
Don't give me a hard time here.
I know that we haven't done right by Native Americans, by people of color from many places we call this country.
You said we. What did you do?
We, the people who represent the dominant narrative in this country.
But in the Bible, this will be reasonable to me. It says that the fathers and the women who had slaves, that they would bow to the slaves. In these last days, in these end times, when Christ comes back and rules this earth, a black man by the name of Jesus Christ, the men who led our people into captivity and the women who profited off of our slavery and our blood, they're going to bow at our feet. That would be reasonable to me.
You asking her to bow right now?
I mean, that would be reasonable. Like, if you were really sorry for what your people did.
If you feel truly bad for what your ancestors did, will you give them $20 right now?
I don't know if that would solve a problem, and my ancestors were dirt poor also.
I would say empty your bank account. When you think about it, we became the financial backing of building America. We became the labor. So when you say money doesn't change it, it does. That's why I said empty your bank account. You should too. Everybody, every white person should empty their bank account.
Would you be willing to maybe give a $100 donation to the cause?
Yeah, that.
Like right now on camera?
Well, I don't have anything.
Do you believe in justice?
I do believe in justice.
Es una posibilidad que quizás la zápido de este hombre?
I'm in my 70s now. When I die, that money's going to be gone. And it's not going to go to people who are just going to go out and buy lattes and spend it on going out to bars and whatever. It's going to go to cancer causes and causes like yours.
Like black people?
Black people. Doctors Without Borders is a big thing I support.
The first thing that came to my mind was that when she dies, she's gonna help black people, not when she's alive.
No, I'm doing it now. I'm giving a huge amount of what I've got every year.
Why should you feel obligated to help black people? Did you enslave anyone?
No, absolutely not. But our society is continuing the discrimination that's based on what happened.
Justice should be done, in my mind, at the time that it happens. And if we don't have a legal system in this country or in all countries to take care of people who commit these kind of crimes when they happen, not the generations that follow, they bear some responsibility, but if they didn't commit murder, then to me, they're not the ones that should be incarcerated.
I agree with her.
Let's just not ignore the elephant in the room. You bowed at your father's feet, fed your children while your father went off to go conquer America. While my mother was working, we had to tend to your children. Our mothers had to suckle your babies before they suckled our own babies. So it'll be reasonable for you to bow at the feet of the slave. That would be reasonable if you was really sorry. You seem like a compassionate person.
I'm a compassionate person, but my apology is, or my way of saying I do not believe what went on in history was fair or just, is my way of saying that I may be with you in some areas, I may not be with you in other areas, but I want to fight for everybody right now, and I do, and I stand for that.
Look
my bow.
Look behind you. That's who fights. We don't need you to fight.
Okay.
But check this out. You just embody, and this is why God is going to put you in slavery, because your people always try to slither and find ways out of the harsh reality of what was done to us. You know for a fact that your people hung my people from trees. This park right here in Harlem, you know this is a black community. It's not. It was. It's not anymore. It's not anymore. You want to know why? Because of crack. Because of Ronald Reagan. You understand? So you can't sit here like a poor lily white lady, you know, with your dog and looking hopeless because of what you've done to my people.
That seems a little exaggerated, right? You think that's a little harsh, K2?
I can only tell you that I live my life trying to be good to everybody I'm around, and continue to do. I would.
He's saying you could be the change you want to see, and you could take a bow right now and just show a little gesture.
A bow is a gesture, and I've got a dog that I've got to keep going with. Her name is Curry.
Sit, Curry. Sit. So both of y'all, sit.
She wants to.
Curry is a sweet-looking dog. His people have gotten hung in trees, killed, molested, raped, genocided, and you won't even take a bow, is what he's saying.
That doesn't fix lynchings.
But he's saying he'll do a little bit to help him.
That doesn't. You know what? You're trying to position me to be oppositional, although I may not have the same history of beliefs as you do. I do agree with you that people have done incredible wrongs that land us where we are today. I hope you see that I don't represent some privileged white lady. I am just me.
Not even like a deferential bow before you leave?
Come on. That's a gratuitous, that doesn't mean anything.
But you have a good day.
All right, thank you.
What else would you have liked her to do?
Oh, she was going to kiss our boots.
Have you ever had anyone kiss your boot?
Absolutely, all the time. I didn't expect it to bow. It just really was a point to show you that even though white people seem like they care about you and seem like they care about the hardships that we went through, they really kind of negate it because it's really aimed at them. She knows without a shadow of a doubt of what are the crimes some people did to us.
But she didn't do anything. That's the big disconnect. She didn't do anything. Just like you didn't go through slavery. What are your thoughts as you walk away?
I hope it helps.
Even if it means you are eventually enslaved.
I don't think it'll come to that, but
it will though, right?
Yeah.
Oh
God said, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword.
Is that a little harsh?
yeah, but I don't think we can actually argue it and say what's going to actually happen. It could be symbolic as well as literal, I think.
Okay. No, this is literal.
Move your hand up. Get hit. Bang, boom, bang. Ugh. This is what we call my department. I'm responsible for the Hebrew Academy. What these men are going through back here is something that all our men have gone through, all the brothers have gone through, including the head of our school, Commander Junior Honor. You see these covers that we're wearing, this all represents the trial by fire that we go through out here to kind of bond us all together.
So these are all different training techniques. So now they're using mitts, like you would train in boxing. So they're using mitts to learn to punch and then slip. So this is, again, the hand-to-hand combat training that we train brothers in the school so that they could defend themselves.
Fist up right here. go. But this is just a portion of the brothers that's in the academy. We have brothers in Texas, South Texas right now. We have brothers in Chicago, brothers in Florida, brothers in Atlanta, Georgia. We even have a brother out in the Bahamas. They're actually doing what we're doing right now all over the country. So this is what bonds us together, their language, which is Hebrew, and we also teach them the biblical martial arts, which is called the Yad Karab. It's what King David used, it's what Samson used, and people don't know this. This is what Christ used as well. People think Christ was some old, just peaceful Gandhi type cat.
Yeah.
But Christ was a superior revolutionary. You understand? And the men around him were fighters.
I know that, yeah. What are the qualifications needed to become a black Hebrew Israelite?
When you say recruits, we don't have recruits. Christ said this,
right.
My sheep hear my voice. These men found us. I found Commander John Yohana.
How did you find him?
By hearing his voice. I seen the camp out on the street. Brothers come and hear what's being said, hearing that the true biblical Jews are black, hearing that Christ died for only blacks, Hispanics, Native American Indians, that the 12 lost tribes of Israel are the people who are despaired and trodden on in this country that you call America.
Do you have to be a certain percentile of black or Hispanic or Native American to join the black Hebrew Israelites?
We go by who your father is, by blood. That percentile and all that, it comes from the so-called white man society. I mean, how do you know what percentile black I am?
I don't know.
Like, even just thinking about it doesn't make any sense. Let's say, for instance, like Bob Marley. He's a white man like you. Yeah, because his father is white. Your father is white, correct?
Yeah, he's Portuguese.
He's white. Bob Marley is your brother, not mine. My father.
Bob Marley, my man.
No, I mean, you can have him. But when it comes to
That is
nationality, the
flawed
Bible
thinking.
always traces the lineage of the man. So if your father is a black man, a Negro, you understand, you're from the tribe of Judah. If your father is a Mexican, he is an Israelite from the tribe of Issachar. They are brothers.
Who is the dog race?
The dog race is the so-called African, who you would call the Nigerian or the Rwandan or the South Africans. Those are considered Africans, but they are not our people.
A Nigerian couldn't come here and be a brother?
No.
Ethiopian?
No.
Kenyan?
Nope.
None of them? Damn, okay.
The man who calls himself a Jew is a red man. His blood show forth through his skin. You cannot hide among a dark race of people. You understand? It's just proving that the black man, because we're called African because we were found in the land of Africa, hiding among a dark race.
The seduction is to convince black people that America wants us to be a part of that. The difference between like the Democratic Party, Republican is gonna say everything to your face. They're gonna do it bluntly. The Democrats is gonna do it seductively. It's almost like if you take a can of beer, you don't wanna drink the full beer, so you get light beer. But it's still the same racism.
Sure.
It's just covered up in a different bottle, but still gets you drunk.
What are your thoughts on the Civil Rights Act?
I would prefer segregation than the Civil Rights Act. The greatest time that black people had and the greatest threat that we ever were to America was segregated times, during Jim Crow, doing all the things when we was getting lynched.
Man, we just gotta stop all supremacy, man. We just gotta stop it.
And arrested, they incorporated the 13th Amendment so they could falsely lock us up. We still built hospitals, colleges, cities. We had a Negro League. We had all these things. We had education. Then you had the thought process of it's better if we integrate. And so when we decided to integrate, we lost education. We lost family structure. We lost businesses. We lost everything. Now they have this term called black businesses. Back during segregation, it wasn't about black business because we knew what businesses we were supporting. There was no mantra of separate from white people. We just was building our own. And that became the biggest threat because in less than 40 years removed from slavery, we showed America that we don't need you. And America can't have that because if we don't need them, then we would rise up over them.
Do you think white people naturally want segregation as well?
White people just want enslavement. White people want black people and Latinos to know your place. Trump being in office is the rallying cry for all of those MAGA people to say Trump is gonna put black people in their place. White America is loving every single thing that Trump is doing because he's saying, in their mind, he's saying, you niggas gotta act like what we say now.
It's cold, I can't feel my toes. Brothers are out here throwing hands. How long does the training last?
Brothers are out here throwing hands.
6 hours. Damn.
But the point is that the bond that they built today will keep them in the same shape of brotherhood.
I'm loving the black Hebrew Israelites. I'm gonna be honest. I wish I had a white version of this. I want a real cracker university.
So what did he just say?
I'm loving the black Hebrew Israelites. I'm gonna be honest. I wish I had a white version of this. I want a real cracker university that I could join.
I feel like feel like as long as they're like a non-violent organization, you know, they're good. But like, I feel like just being a sheep and just following someone else, like you said before, it's just wrong.
Do you guys verify the paternal lineage?
We have a system to be able to tell. If anything's questionable, we'll do our due diligence to, to find out. It's hard for brothers who have white women to be in here.
They're allowed to date white women?
No, they're not allowed to date white women. But when brothers come into the school, they might have a white woman already. It's against the laws of God to put your woman away.
Put her away in what sense?
Or they might have a white mother. A brother might learn the truth and learn that he's an Israelite. Some people have a hard time with that because of how harshly we teach about white people, about the crimes that they've done. That is his mother, though. We would never tell him to kill his mother or anything like that, of course, because that'd be evil and wrong.
When you see like a white person, do you ever have just like a feeling of disgust, like these bastards?
Well, this is what you got to understand. Yeah. We're professionals. Like, I can sit and have a conversation with you all day long.
When I leave, are you like these damn white people?
Not to the extent that you think.
Not to a personalized extent, but just more of a zoomed out group perspective.
Right, because you're one white man, and you might be an all right white guy. We can talk about electrical work. We can talk about football. You know, the game coming on and all of that. We'll never be brothers. You understand? We'll be professional. We'll be cordial. I ain't gonna slam the door in your face because you're walking behind me. I'm a professional.
Okay.
We ain't the Ku Klux Klan. We ain't going around like, you stupid cracker. I should hang you from a goddamn tree. Yeah. We ain't the Ku Klux Klan. We're professional priests. Well, you just one white man. You don't make no impact on my life personally. The system of white people is what you're gonna pay for. Okay. You might have not had slaves, but you are gonna pay for what your forefathers did, however.
I think the person who did it should face the punishment, not the child or the child's child.
What if he's dead? What if the person who did it got away scot-free?
It is what it is.
It means his son gonna pay.
I feel like if the person dies, then you start peace. You start peace and you live together in harmony. You don't just target innocent people, man.
Pay for it. Man, Harlem was one of the most blackest cities in New York City. I mean, ridiculous. It was a phenomenon. Now you look at it now. It's integrated. It's completely
gentrification or what?
There are no black-owned businesses in Harlem. We already had that. How did we lose it? Through the civil rights. The civil rights failed the black community because they wanted to join white society. We had the white man's water fountain and we had the black man's water fountain. Instead of saying that we're going to make our black water fountain the best water fountain there's ever fountain, our leaders said that we want to drink from the white man's water fountain too. So what happened is he said, okay, you could drink from our water fountain, but you're going to always get water from me. I'm the one that's going to own the water fountain.
Suck the teat of the white man.
Exactly. Now the youth, the men who were children back then, now they coming up, we got to push black businesses, man. We got to push black businesses when the civil rights failed us and gave all of our black businesses to white people. You understand? You see that plane crash that crashed over in Philadelphia?
Oh, yeah.
It was glorious. I was mad as hell because I wanted to go get some chicken. I couldn't even get no chicken.
What do you mean that was glorious?
The Lord took it down. It was glorious.
When you see those planes hitting walls, you're like, hell yeah.
When I see America start to fall, we have a drink.
What?
The brothers have a drink. These are the signs of our King's return. This is a horrible time for good people. This is a glorious time for us. This is what we've been prophesying about for years. Like, we were on different sides of the fence here.
You see like a school shooting and you hear about a bunch of people getting killed. Are you like, thank God?
Okay, don't think of it like that. Think of more. When America and the sins of America start to rise up, that's how we know we in these end times. The harshality of what happened is not what I'm focused on.
I see.
The impact of what happened to America is what we focus on. How it impact this society. You understand what I'm saying? The war with Russia, what's going on in Ukraine, how it impacts America. All of those things we are paying attention to. You see a school shooting, we always taught that the white man need to be racially profiled because they're the ones that do a lot of the school shooting, don't they?
Where is your land? Like the Gaza Strip? Is that where you guys?
Israel, all in. The nation of Israel, that Iraq, Iran. What Israel you see on the map, that is not the whole Israel according to the Bible. That's just a small piece of what the white man stole and gave to the so-called Israelis that live over there now. You understand? Israel is that whole portion over there. Pieces of Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Iran, Israel is a very large large piece of land, and it's also called Eden. It's the Garden of Eden. To build a nation, you gotta build a nation with your sister. You can't build a nation and give your inheritance to another nation.
And so what we decide to do in the ISUBK, where the Real Nigga University is actually teach people what a real nigga is.
What is a real bleeper?
Appreciate that. I thought I was gonna have to say MacGyver was. In the Real Nigga University, we show the righteousness that Acts 13:1 portrayed. Niggas are righteous, we honor, we worthy of the Lord, we raise up brothers, we build up family, we don't snitch. We would never sing a song for Donald Trump. We would never hate our Mexican brothers who are also real niggas, our Latin brothers, which are also real niggas, our Haitian brothers, which are also real niggas. So we are the epitome of what Acts 13:1 stood for. Christ being black is the realest nigga. White people are like the worst niggas.
Come on,
man. You take any society of people and look at their land before white people interacted with them, and then look at the land after white people. Look at Libya, look at the Middle East, look at Africa, look at North and Central and South America. Like, white people are a virus. When the virus gets in your body, the whole point of the virus is to destroy you. The only way to get rid of it is the medicine. Real niggas are the medicine. So ISUBK is the medicine because we deliver what the Lord says. So if you want to get cured, well, you can't get cured. I don't understand how black men and women can marry a white person knowing the crimes that they committed and what.
Because we are not racist and they didn't do it.
That tells you is that from the time we are born, we have this thing of white is great and black is not, which is again why we enforce such a strong love for black people, enforce using the word nigga, making it righteous, enforce everything that they said was bad just to show how good it is. So that's why we created the Real Nigga University.
So after this, you might see a new school, RCU.
Real Caucasians?
Real Cracker University.
I wouldn't be surprised. Y'all steal everything.
It's not a black and white thing. It's a Jacob and Esau thing.
The brothers.
Yes, exactly.
Wait a second. So our great grandparents are the same, right? Something like that. Jacob, Esau, and then the separation.
If you go even further back before that, because of Noah, you understand Shem, Ham, and Japheth were all related, but the Lord put the difference between them, just like He did between Jacob and Esau. So what matters is when the Lord decides to separate a people and create a nation.
As a non-Israelite, all I care about right now is whether or not white people can avoid being either enslaved or killed on Judgment Day. I headed to their top secret headquarters after an extensive security screening to ask Captain Tazariak what a white man can do to pay the price for his father's sins.
Real quick.
I'd be like, go on down the road, you fuck.
If you want to support our boots on the ground independent journalism that is not bought and paid for by corporate interests, along with exclusive
this is Caesar Borgia. That's who they say Jesus Christ is. So when you come in, you actually step on the white man. They made him to replace the greatest man. So that image like right there, that would be a biblical depiction of Christ when it says hair was white and the texture was woolly, the skin is bronze, so even the garment being green. But this is not Jesus. This is the book I'm talking about. So this is called the Russian Icons, and when you open it, these are the original artwork and imagery of Christ and the disciples.
And how do we know this?
So this is artwork that they found in Europe and Russia in what they call the Dark Ages. The Dark Ages was a time when black people ruled Europe. And so as we rule Europe, we're giving out the truth. So when the white man come out them caves and they start coming in power, the Renaissance era was like a rebirth or a whitewashing. You can even find a black image of Mary in the Roman Catholic Church. And so what's beautiful about this is this not written by us. But see how this image is black? They redo the image and then make it white. So you'll notice you see the flags all throughout the school.
Yeah.
So each flag represents each tribe and the symbol that's synonymous with that tribe. The swords, we're very militant. You know, we're not Christians. We'll whoop your ass if necessary. So we fight.
Well, you guys were training earlier, right?
Yeah,
hand-to-hand combat.
Christ said in the Bible to sell what you have and go purchase a sword. So Christ didn't say.
Christ is a man of blood and steel.
Yeah, Christ whooped ass in the church. I say this all the time. Christ beat people in the temple. Christ wasn't somebody that was a soft and sissy guy. He just did the job that God said, where God said, you're going to be the sacrifice to redeem Israel. So he did take the death, but He was about warfare.
Are you guys labeled as a terrorist organization?
I know we're a hate group. We're labeled as a hate group. I believe, like, I've had Homeland Security come to my house before. So
I think
we are
terrorists.
They said, matter of fact, we might be terrorists because when he came to my house, there was a white guy. He comes, he knocks on the door, and he was like, you know, he got reports that, no, we're terrorists. I got terrorist threats and stuff like that. And so they sit and talk with us, and then he left and said, we're not that. So I think at the surface level, we are labeled as a terrorist and a hate group. The only thing that a white person can give me is their life, like from being
killed themselves.
Yeah, there you go. I'm glad you said it. Whatever you give me would just be a token.
Like what? The deferential bow.
Yeah, like the bow, the boot kiss. All of that is tokens. When true vengeance is you not existing, because as the longer you exist, the more I'm oppressed.
When you see like a white baby, are you like, God, I wish you were aborted?
When I see a white baby, I'll be like, he's gonna try to enslave my people when he gets older.
Do you think racism is a good thing?
I think it's a natural thing for ethnicities to stick to their own. What becomes unnatural is when one ethnicity wants to rule over another one and then another one. That's the white man. The white man ain't content with just having his own.
So is there a time God wants you to take up arms and fight the white man and reclaim power?
Jeremiah 16:16 says, behold, I was send for many fishers and you're fishmen, which is the time that we're in right now. Okay. So the fishing is like going out and teaching, doing interviews like this to provoke people to have questions, to spark an interest about us. And then he says, there's a time I'll send for hunters and we will hunt men. So God dictates the time when we take this off. Like there'll come a time where God gonna say, take this off.
And come after guys like me.
Yeah, we might not be doing the interview that day, Tyler.
And you're being serious, right?
I'm dead ass.
You're ready to kill some white dudes.
I'm ready to do whatever God says.
Right now, it's the fishing phase. You're going to recruit some more Israelites. You're going to help them recognize their true origins. But one day, you're going to take up your preferred weapon.
That's right.
And I may end up on the side of that.
If the Lord chooses so fit.
I feel you're about to tear up on me. You're going to like me a little bit. When did you realize you were an Israelite?
I would hear rappers talk about being Israelites, entertainers saying it. I never took it serious. 2009 is, I guess, when I started realizing that this might be true. And so the more I studied it, the more it just became undeniable proof that not only was I Israelite, but that all of us Blacks, Hispanics, Native Indians was Israelites. And once I got turned on to it, it was just no turning back. A question for black people is like, who are we? If you ask black people who they are, they're gonna tell you they everything. It's not gonna be a true identity. They might say I'm African, they might say I'm Methodist, Christian, I'm Baptist, I'm Jehovah's Witness, I'm Muslim, anything but who they are. And so part of the reason is, of course, slavery did a great damage to us. You couldn't read, you couldn't write. Whatever language you had was taken away, whatever culture, your way of life. So we don't have that. As I'm reading all of this in the Bible, I was mad as at my mama. My grandfather was a pastor. I'm mad at them because it's like, how do y'all have these records, but nobody is giving us the truth? So now I'm throwing out everything that Christianity had to offer.
What age was this?
So I contact ISUBK. They tell me that they teaching in Philadelphia, and I pray to the Most High, if this is the truth, give me a sign. And when I got down there and I come around that corner and General Haas telling that white man, he said, no, you gonna kiss everybody boot. And that white man got on his knees and kissed everybody boot. I said, this is where I'm supposed to be. This is where God told me to be.
So you want to segregate, right? We want whites.
I feel like he's NCS 105,421,730 seconds. I feel like this guy is becoming what he's trying to destroy.
Not so much segregate, I want my community to look just as good as yours.
Why isn't that possible? What's holding you back?
You guys. The urban neighborhoods is specifically targeted by your community, white America, where you let other nations come in and flourish with their businesses in our community. The CIA that you mentioned with the drug oppression, putting drugs into our community. Even Planned Parenthood coming in where they want to either euthanize or get us to abort our babies. So it's not just a white person being in the community.
Right now in 2025, I would argue black people have the same opportunity to do anything. Would you agree?
Can you show me where we have the same opportunity?
Everywhere.
Give me some examples.
I think you get the same job. You don't think so?
Nah, I don't think so.
Tell me why.
So what was the point of DEI?
Why was that to establish a quota to include people that in the workforce, right?
Right. White women have benefited more from that than we have in 2025. In 2025, I just don't see how we're any different than 1965. When the immigrants came over here early, so like if Jewish immigrants come over here, the jobs that they would get would be corporate jobs, nurse jobs. For us, since we've been in here, they want you to get a UPS type of job, Burger King type of job. They tell you have a limit to where you can go. So we're at a disadvantage where you guys had like a 400 or 500 year head start. So you don't even have a black community. You have a mixture that black people live in. So when you go up to your corner, like if we go out here to Harlem, you're gonna see Cohen's, you're gonna see Dunkin' Donuts, you're gonna see CVS, you're gonna see all different stores. In the Bible, the rich are supposed to take care of the poor take care of the rich. That's how you create an internal ecosystem. And with all these rich, wealthy black people, if they created that type of ecosystem, which wouldn't cost as much as they think it is, then we could actually fix the community. So although we're highly represented in the NFL, the NBA, but when they get their money, it's about them.
A lot of people think you guys are like, these guys are the crazy guys who are speaking on the streets. They speak nonsense. It's craziness. But everything you're saying about building up your community, sticking together, makes a lot of sense.
Makes sense.
I think where people get turned off and get offended is when, let's say, a guy like me, you're like, I'm going to enslave you.
I'm going to enslave you.
Right here. And I imagine that's not for you guys, right? That's for me. Right?
Yeah, that's for you.
Can we take a look at this?
Let me put it, don't touch it. You take a look at it, though. It's right here.
So we got a whip right here. Tell me, when is Judgment Day and what will happen to everyone that is not black, Hispanic, or Native American?
That's up to the Lord. Christ said, no man knoweth the day nor the hour. So although I have this whip that you can't touch, it's just something we carry as a symbol of what's coming, like the coming judgment, just like the swords that we have. But when that judgment is, that's up to the Lord. When they say they killed Osama bin Laden, the media coverage, white people was in the streets shouting for joy, saying that I can finally be at peace because Osama bin Laden is dead.
We're your Osama bin Laden.
Not so much your our Osama bin Laden, but your destruction. We'll finally be able to rest. When that judgment comes, we gonna wake up in the morning like, I don't even know what to do with myself. Because my brain don't have to think about oppression no more. It's just rest. When Hitler got killed, Jewish people felt that same exact way. The only people that have never had that feeling is blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. The slavery remains in our DNA, even at a subconscious level. There was something I had talked about. They did this study, it was called the mice in a cherry tree. So they take these mice, they take this cherry tree, the mice like the cherry tree, they put this metal grate right before the cherry tree. When they go to the cherry tree, it shocks the shit out of them. Not enough to kill them, but enough to cause pain. So as they keep going to that cherry tree and they keep getting shocked, they stop going to the cherry tree. Those mice have children. They remove the shock. The children that the mice have don't go to the cherry tree. Although they like the smell and they like the cherry tree, they have the memory of the shock that comes with that cherry tree, so they don't go near it. They stay away from it. It's mentally, genetically been passed down. They had to take those mice and mate them generationally with 7 other mice that never had any memory of that tree in order for them to go to that tree, even though it's not there. And that's black people. We don't have the physical chains on us no more, but the mental that you guys have done to us is why we come across as a hate group. That's how the perception. But then when people come,
I mean, I know you want me to die one day, but
right,
you're chill.
When you actually have, that's funny. It's a good, decent white guy. He knows it's coming and said I'm chill anyway. So we're genetically passing down curses that keep us inferior. Whereas if we genetically pass down things that make us superior, we wouldn't have that thought process.
Why not take the brothers to the land of Israel and reclaim your birthright?
I visited Israel back in 2017, and as good as it was, I hated it because I felt like I was abandoning all the brothers and sisters that couldn't be there. It's almost like an escape route.
When you go to Israel and you speak with the so-called Jews, what do they have to say about what you tell them about the real Jews?
I get different answers. Some vehemently fight back. Some will say, you know, they were black at that time, as if you could change from being black.
And eventually, all blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans may one day realize they are Israelites.
If they smart.
But you believe this stuff, right?
All of it.
Okay.
Y'all live differently. Y'all think differently. Y'all live with the sword. We don't. What I mean by living,
violence?
Y'all ain't at peace with nobody till after y'all destroy him.
You think that's genetic?
Yes, because the native Indians who were Israelites tried to be peaceable with y'all. So we tried to go the peace route with y'all, and then y'all unalived us for it. Even right now, black people are trying to be at peace with y'all, and y'all still slap them in the face. Trump is slapping the shit out of black people right now, and black people still got hope in America. There's two things we can't do. We can't let other nations be a part of us, and then homosexuals.
You have a brother who comes in here, he says, I like a little dick here and there. What do you say to him?
He got to stop that.
He says, I'll stop tomorrow. Can I join?
He can say he'll stop tomorrow, but we would monitor him to see if he's sincere about it. Now, we would monitor him just like we would monitor a cokehead, because any Israelite can repent. Like, God is stronger than homosexuality, so that man can conquer being a homosexual. If you're a homosexual and you want to stop being a homosexual, doesn't mean you have to have sex with a woman. It just means you can't have sex with a man.
People may not agree with what you're saying, but man, this honesty is refreshing.
Yeah, one thing you ain't gonna call me is a liar.
What are some misconceptions you would like to clarify for some brothers out there who may be on the fence joining the organization?
Please.
Okay, so what I would first say, we're not a hate group, we're a love group. The brothers that we need to bring in here, they're a hate group. They hate their own brothers. When they go outside, they sell drugs to their own brothers. They sleep with their brothers' wives. We're the reverse of hate. We're the opposite of hate. What we teach is for brothers to stop selling drugs. And we don't hate a people. We hate what they've done. We don't hate white people. God hates white people. He created them to be hated. When it comes to if white people never did anything to us, we wouldn't hate them. So we're not an extremist group. We don't promote violence. All that training that you saw Captain Akkad doing with these men is about self-defense. We don't want nobody to go out there and harm nobody, but we also don't want you to be a sucker. You have every right to defend yourself, and there's a tactful way to do it.
What can the average white person watching do to repent in your eyes, to be good with you?
You can go to isubk.com, click the tithe and donations link, and empty your bank account.
This guy, man.
Either that or death.
So either give us all your money or kill yourself.
Die.
Yes.
Thank you.
No problem.
Bro, you cannot say that and then say that you're a love group. These things don't intertwine. And I feel like if you're trying to show someone how to protect themselves and to not be a sucker, you teach them not with violence, but you teach them with, intelligence. Show them how to outsmart others, how to beat them up.